Not life part.
Police part.
No, we're lovers, but there's a lot going on in this movie.
I don't know how I ended up with this guy in the back of the car, baby. I must be possessed. I don't know, man. I don't know.
But Joel learned how to fight with, what kind of, is that Filipino style?
A Filipino knife fighting style.
Like basically like a boxer would fight, but holding knives.
Yeah.
So he could just, like,
it's
he
a
knows
form
how
of
to do
murder.
It's a form.
It literally is not really an art. It's showing. I was showing how I could kill people.
But it was awesome. Now you know how.
Now I do, and I use it.
Any volunteers?
Yeah.
No?
I work at the E building. It comes in handy when I.
Khloe Kardashian, swipe.
They don't bleed.
Bruce Jenner's empty. He's a husk.
It's just sand coming out of him.
You just punch through him. I cannot be defeated by conventional means.
What the hell? Where's that old lady running to now?
Is he?
Hey, buddy, Ryan Seacrest. Scott, let's talk a little bit about, because obviously Exorcism Emily Rose is a phenomenal movie. I adore that movie. What is it about this kind? I know it's a different story. I know this is more procedural. What is it about this kind of story that you really like as a filmmaker?
I mean, I like that. Unlike zombie movies, where the audience knows there aren't really zombies, or vampire movies, there's no real vampires or werewolves. Exorcisms are a fact. You know, they really happen. And the footage that I showed Eric and Olivia was so disturbing because it's real. You know, it's real footage that happened to real people, and I like that. I like two things about that. I like that it allows a different kind of fear to enter into the audience if you do it properly, because it's a fear that goes, I think, deeper than other kinds of genre films. But I also like that it opens the mind to the mysteries of life, you know. And I'm a big believer that horror films are meant to be fun, and they're meant to be a form of escape, as all good entertainment is. But at the same time, they awaken good things in us when they're good movies. And a good horror film, certainly a good exorcism movie, makes you think that the world is a bit more magical and mysterious than what you know, you're often told by the powers of the world, you know, that we've got everything figured out, and I don't think that's true, and I like movies that remind me that that's not true.
Eric, did you spend a lot of time with Ralph Sarchie?
I did. It wasn't really negotiable. Ralph was there from day one of pre-production through every day of the shoot, and initially I freaked out. I was like, we were doing a table reading, and when I do a table reading, sometimes I'm not even at the stage where I'm doing it in accent, you know. And there's this guy who's having to listen to an Australian guy, you know, read him. I can't remember if I did it
for the first time, reading the script for the first time.
And we were reading the script this day, and he stopped, and he gave me a note, like an acting note. And if it was 10 years ago, I would have just frozen and said nothing and waited for the director to come and defend me. And I just went, Ralph, don't listen or pay attention to a single word that comes out of my mouth today. And he got it, and he was like, he respected it, and he left me alone, and we ended up becoming really good friends, and it never freaked me out beyond that point. He was on set every day. In fact, it was the other way around. There was a few days where he refused to come to set because he didn't want to see what I was doing, because my acting was so bad, apparently. It's like, I really don't need to be exposed to any more of that. So there were times where he wouldn't come because he just didn't want to see what we were filming that day. But yeah, so it was a mixture of initially terrifying and then just fun.
But is it strange? I mean, how do you approach a character that's a real guy in the world as opposed to someone that's completely made up?
It's a fair question. Initially, I think you can be really selfish, and you have a list of 1,000 things that you want to ask them. And going into the project, I had that list of 1,000 questions, and I wanted to sit him down and, you know, ask him about this, tell me this story. And honestly, after 2 days, luckily we hit it off because we both love motorcycles. And I just went, I'm not asking him anything. I'm not asking him a single thing. I don't want to hear any stories. I don't want to know about any police procedure, nothing. And I just shut my mouth and I just listened to him. I listened to him talk to other people. I listened to him talk to the crew. I watched the effect he had on people. I watched the effect he had on the cops who would come to visit the set. The older officers were so excited they were going to meet Ralph and see him again, and the younger officers were absolutely shitting themselves that they were finally going to meet Ralph Sarchi. Like, he had this incredible physical presence and reputation. So I just thought it was more appropriate to just sit back and just be an observer of all that rather than interview him, you know?
Yeah.